If you have $1,000 right now, and you want to turn it into real wealth over time, you are probably overwhelmed by all the options, from stocks to crypto, to real estate, to side hustles. But after watching this entire video, you will know exactly where to put that money based on whether you live in the US or the UK. And more importantly, you will learn why most people lose money when they start with $1,000 and how you can avoid being one of them. Let me start by asking you a simple question. Do you remember the first time you had $1,000 in your bank account that was not already spoken for by rent or bills? For most people, that moment feels empowering but also terrifying because you do not want to waste it. You want to grow it. And that fear of wasting it is exactly what scammers and bad investment products prey on. So before I tell you exactly where to put your money, I need to warn you about the 3 traps that eat beginners alive. Trap number 1 is get-rich-quick gambling. This is when you take your $1,000 and try to turn it into $10,000 overnight through options trading, meme stocks, or leverage. And sure, sometimes people win, but most people lose everything within 6 months because they are not investing, they are gambling. Trap number 2 is analysis paralysis. This is when you spend months researching the perfect stock or the perfect crypto, watching charts, reading forums, and in the end, you do nothing. Your $1,000 just sits in a checking account, earning 0%, while inflation eats away at its value every single day. And trap number 3 is paying high fees for bad advice. This is when you go to an additional financial advisor who puts you in expensive mutual funds with 2% fees, or you buy into some insurance product that claims to be an investment, but actually just makes the salesman rich. I fell into trap number 1 and trap number 3 when I started, and it cost me years of progress. So now let me give you a simple system that works for both US and UK investors. The foundation of this system is that you do not need to be brilliant. You just need to be consistent, and you need to understand the tax advantages your country gives you. If you are in the United States, your best friend is the Roth IRA. A Roth IRA is an account where you put money that has already been taxed, and then it grows tax-free forever. You never pay taxes on the gains again. In 2026, you can contribute up to $7,000 if you are under 50. So with your $1,000, you open a Roth IRA at Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab, and inside that account, you buy an S&P 500 index fund like VOO or IVV. That is it. That one decision alone will outperform most actively managed funds over 20 years. If you are in the United Kingdom, your best friend is the Stocks and Shares SA. And SA allows you to invest up to £20,000 per year, completely tax-free. No capital gains tax. No dividend tax. Nothing. So with your £1,000 or $1,000 converted, you open a Stocks and Shares ISA with Vanguard UK, Hargreaves Lansdowne, or Trading 212. And inside that account, you buy a global index fund like VWRP or an S&P 500 fund like VUSA. Again, simple and effective. Now I know what some of you are thinking. You are thinking, but I want to pick individual stocks. I want to buy Nvidia or Apple or Tesla. And look, I own individual stocks myself. But here is the truth. When you only have $1,000, diversification is your only free lunch. If you put all $1,000 into one stock and that stock drops 50%, you have lost $500 and your confidence. But if you buy an index fund, you own 500 companies. Some will go down, but others will go up. And over time, the trend has always been upward. Let me give you an example. If you had invested $1,000 in the S&P 500 in January 2009, right in the middle of the financial crisis when everyone was terrified, by January 2024, that $1,000 would have grown to over $8,000. That is a 700% return without doing anything. No day trading, no stress. No checking charts every hour. Just patience. But here is the part most financial videos do not tell you. The hardest part of investing is not choosing the right fund. The hardest part is not panicking when the market drops 20%. And it will drop. Maybe next month, maybe next year. But when it drops, the media will scream that the world is ending. Your friends will say they told you so. And your brain will scream at you to sell and feel safe. If you sell then, you lock in your losses, and you miss the recovery that always follows. So with your $1,000, you are not just buying stocks. You are buying a mindset. You are buying the ability to sit still while others panic. You are buying years of compound growth that you cannot see today, but your future self will thank you for. Now, let me address a specific situation. What if you have debt? Should you still invest this $1,000? The answer depends on the interest rate. If you have credit card debt at 20% interest, pay that off first because no investment guarantees you 20%. If you have student loans at 4%, you can invest because the stock market historically returns 8 to 10%. So you come out ahead. What if you need this money in the next 2 years for a house deposit or a wedding? Then do not invest it in stocks. Put it in a high-yield savings account or a cash ISA because the stock market is for money you can leave alone for at least 5 years, ideally longer. And here is something specific for my UK viewers. If you are a basic rate taxpayer, you also have a dividend allowance and a capital gains allowance. But inside an ISA, you do not need to worry about any of that because it is all tax-free. That is why maxing your ISA every year should be your number one financial goal after you have an emergency fund. For my US viewers, after you fund your Roth IRA, the next step is your 401k, especially if your employer matches. That matches free money. Never leave free money on the table. If you put $1,000 in your 401k and your employer matches 50%, you instantly have $1,500. That is a 50% return before the market even moves. Now, I want to share a personal story. When I had my first $1,000 to invest, I did not know any of this. I opened a random brokerage account and bought a stock my friend recommended. It was a biotech company. It went to zero in 8 months. I lost all of it, and I felt stupid. But that loss taught me something valuable. It taught me that speculation is not investing, and it pushed me to actually learn how money works. So if you have made mistakes with money before, do not beat yourself up. Just learn and move forward. The truth is that building wealth is boring. It is repetitive. It is automatic transfers and ignoring the news and trusting the process. And that is why most people never do it. Because boring does not sell. But boring works. So here is your action plan for today. Step 1. Open the right account. Roth IRA if you are in the US. Stocks and shares ISA if you are in the UK. Step 2. Fund it with your $1,000. Step 3. Buy a low-cost index fund that tracks the S&P 500 or the global market. Step 4. Do not check it every day. Step 5. Add more money every month automatically. Step 6. Repeat for 10 years and watch what happens. I want you to imagine yourself 10 years from now. You are sitting somewhere comfortable, maybe your own home, maybe on a vacation, and you look back at today, the day you decided to take control of your money instead of letting your money control you. That future version of you is begging the current version of you to just start. And that is what separates the wealthy from everyone else. Not intelligence, not luck, just starting. I need you to understand something deeply. Money is not just numbers on a screen. Money is freedom. Money is options. Money is the ability to walk away from a job you hate. Money is the ability to help people you love. And every dollar you invest today is a small piece of that future freedom. So when you feel tempted to spend that $1,000 on something that gives you pleasure for a week, remember what you are actually choosing between. You are choosing between a temporary thrill and permanent freedom. And once you see money that way, spending on nonsense becomes physically painful. If this video gave you clarity on where to put your first $1,000, hit that subscribe button right now, because on NextGen Wealth, we are building a community of smart investors in the UK and the US who want real answers, not hype. And comment below with either US or UK so I know which country you are investing from, and I will personally reply with a resource to help you take the next step. Also click the video right here to watch me break down the exact index funds I own with my own money.